Welcome back to Tipping Point. I'm your host, Kara McKinney. So much can change in just a few short years. It wasn't that long ago where if you didn't wear a face mask in New York, you were a granny killer who should be relegated to second-class citizen status. And even that might have been too good for you. But now the governor, Kathy Hochul, and the mayor of the Big Apple, Eric Adams, are considering an outright ban on face masks in the subway transit systems because crime's gotten so bad. Watch.
I see individuals on a subway being terrorized by individuals in masks. It's a cause for great concern. We have images of people with masks that almost cover up their entire face. It's impossible to find these perpetrators.
Mayor Adams is supporting the governor's possible ban, calling people who wear masks to harass subway riders and commit crimes cowards.
In our transit system, people have hid under the guise of wearing a mask for COVID to commit criminal acts and vile acts. And I think now is the time to go back to the way it was pre-COVID, where you should not be able to wear a mask at protests in our subway systems and other places.
Imagine that. We were right all along. Not only do face masks have little to no effect on preventing the spread of airborne viruses like COVID, but they also help to accelerate deeply antisocial trends in society through anonymity. It's curious, isn't it, how the left is coming after our gun rights even more intensely now, while at the same time unleashing such a massive crime wave. If you defend yourself against these criminals, it's increasingly likely that you'll be the one in cuffs before your assailant is. And still, the left's fear-mongering persists that it's concealed carry permit holders and legal gun owners with a healthy sense of 2A pride who are the dangerous ones, instead of all the gangbangers showing off their illegal weapons on social media as they terrorize the streets of places like Chicago and New Orleans. Speaking of fear-mongering, did you know that the U.S. Supreme Court just legalized machine guns? Because no, that's not the Supreme Court just ruled, but it is what the left-wing rag Vox is fear-mongering to its base about. Instead, what the court ruled 6-3 on is that the ATF overstepped its authority on outlawing bump stocks. Justice Clarence Thomas wrote the majority opinion in which he held, quote, "A semi-automatic rifle equipped with a bump stock is not a machine gun because it cannot fire more than one shot by a single function of the trigger. And even if it could, it would not do so automatically. ATF therefore exceeded its statutory authority by issuing a rule that classifies bump stocks as machine guns," end quote. Have you noticed how the ATF, just like the left, redefines words as it sees fit so that it can chip away at Second Amendment rights? Joining us now to discuss is John Crump. He's a writer for Ammo Land, and he's the Special Projects Coordinator for Gun Owners of America. John, thanks for being back tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So you wrote about this ruling. How critical is that distinction that we just heard made by Justice Thomas in the majority opinion?
It is very critical because what the ATF has been trying to do is to change the laws to fit their political goals by making these rules. The NFA is very clear when it states that a machine gun is a gun that fires multiple rounds with a single function of the trigger, which is not what a bump stock does. But the ATF twisted it and said, well, in the spirit of the law, it's a machine gun, which it definitely isn't. And the ATF has been using the powers that they have to not only ban bump stocks, but go after frames and receivers, pistol braces, and by making everyone a gun dealer. But what this ruling really does, which is really exciting, is it tells the ATF you cannot change the meaning of a law to fit political goals. So even though this deals with bump stocks, it's going to have rippling effects on all their other rules as well.
You know, that's, of course, some of the best news to come out of this. And the case itself was called Cargill versus Garland. We know who Garland is, but can you catch us up to speed, viewers, on who Cargill is in reference to this broader case?
Sure. Michael Cargill is a Texas gun dealer who had bump stocks to sell. And with the new rule, he couldn't sell those bump stocks because they are now machine guns. Michael is a good friend of mine, and he doesn't take things sitting down. He likes to challenge what he sees as unfair laws and unfair rules.